Hello,
We're just going to
friend.
start with a deep
Deep
breath.
cleansing breaths. It's gonna be fine.
um, I'm going to start. We're here with Edie Carey today. I'm going to start with a few announcements as people trickle in, and then we're going to do a little interview with Edie, and then let Edie play some of her gorgeous songs. So we're here. You're tuned in to the Warming House feed. You're either over on Facebook or you're over on YouTube. We're in both places because we're coming at you on StreamYard. And the Warming House is a small nonprofit music venue in South Minneapolis. We are in the basement of a bike shop, and we just turned 4 years old. Crazy. Sometimes it feels like it's been decades, and sometimes it feels like 4 minutes. But we had to close our doors in mid-March. We still wanted to reach out to the community, so we tried a few things in April and then landed on every day in May. We are streaming live at 4 o'clock Central. 4 because we're 4, and also because it's like kind of happy hour-ish. However, yeah. I need to acknowledge first, Edie and I were talking earlier, that we need to acknowledge what is going on in Minneapolis. And I might cry because I'm tired. And for those of you who are tuning in from outside of Minneapolis or outside of Minnesota, you're only getting a sliver of what's going on. Our whole city seems to be burning, and there's looting everywhere, and we don't feel safe, and businesses are closing today and for the weekend because of the riots. I'm going to speak for myself personally right now. I personally understand. I don't condone any of this rioting, but I understand it because there's generational anger happening right now. And George Floyd didn't need to die, and we don't need any more death by the hands of cops, especially the death of Black men. It's awful. It's a problem. It's beyond a problem. We are safe here at the Warming House. I'm broadcasting from our space, but we're worried about the bike shop. Farmstead Bike Shop is right above us. And actually all around us, literally, Edie, this place is filled with bicycles. The venue is.
You brought them all down into the venue.
Yeah, well, we've been using it because it's been bonkers, crazy busy. And we've been using it for storage. And just because we can, you know? So our audience today is bicycles, as well as people, you know, across the states or whatever. But we are worried about the bike shop. And we are worried about our staff. We just had a staff meeting that we just wrapped up. So Farmstead Bike Shop is closed today. We might open again for limited hours tomorrow. That's a big might because we're just going to kind of gauge what's going on. Our landlords are here working on boarding up our windows. And we live in this neighborhood too. My partner and I, who own the bike shop and started the Warming House, we live in this neighborhood too, and this is the neighborhood that I grew up in. We live in the house that I grew up in. And we're just really fucking sad. We wanted to go on with this show today because we know that people tune in from everywhere. I wanted to let folks know that if they want to really truly know what's going on here, Unicorn Riot is a person that is doing live streams from the front lines all night long. He was out there. He's been awesome. It's a lot, you know. So don't tune in if you don't want to see what's.
Is he like live Facebook Live or
Facebook Live? Yes,
yeah.
Thank you
okay.
for clarifying that,
okay.
Edie. Unicorn Riot is a journalist, and he covers all protests and riots and movements and actions, and he does it really well. So yeah, if you want to know more about what's going on from a firsthand experience, please tune in to Unicorn Riot on Facebook Live. That is coming from me personally. And please hold Minneapolis in your thoughts. Again, we wanted to go through with this show so that we could acknowledge it. Also, we know that Edie is a person that can hold space for us. Edie is a person that is heartwarming and cathartic to listen to. And she's also in Colorado. So we know people are tuning in from Boston here, High Ridge in Boston. And thoughts are with us from Chandra, obviously not tuning in from Minneapolis too. And John is right down the street. John Lewis is one of the founders of the Warming House. And
Hi, John.
He also came over to hold space for us and fend off any folks last night. So thank you, John. Okay, all of that said, let's
can I just say thank you so much for giving us a window into what you're experiencing, because as we were talking about this before we came on, but that we see what we see on CNN and on the news in general it's such a good thing in some ways for us to have something happen close to us, because then we can kind of see the disparity between what is shown and what is actually happening.
Yeah.
It's really helpful for us to know that, even though it sounds like it's far more intense and more scary than maybe we even realize,
Thanks. It truly makes me question, like, we only saw a sliver of Ferguson, and we only saw a sliver of I'm thinking way back to Rodney King. I remember that. I remember
me too
watching that.
And how it's like two producers' decision, like what they decide is interesting enough to share with people.
Right.
It doesn't come close to begin to capture what's actually happening.
Right. CNN was showing I should say I put up a bunch of live feed too from yesterday. My family and I went, and I also wrote an account. It's public, Facebook. Wrote an account of our trip down to the protests 2 nights ago when there wasn't rioting yet, so I put up my account of getting tear gassed, which was not fun. And then I Facebook Live some of the scene at 38th in Chicago, which is just a mile or two down the road from us. It's beautiful there. There's a big, huge memorial, and a mural went up for George Floyd. And then I went down to do some cleanup work at the riot site. And what you see on CNN a lot is that liquor store going up in flames. And that is right across the street from a bike shop and a music venue. The Hook and Ladder music venue is right across the street from there. The 5th precinct the 3rd is right next to the Hook and Ladder music venue, which, Edie, you'll play someday if it doesn't burn down. Christ almighty, right? Yeah. They're a nonprofit too, so we're like super holding them in our heart. I picked up trash all over the place there. And like the thing you see on CNN, I was right there. We were right there. Like our community was right there. I ran into musician friends that we have hosted here.
Yeah.
Like,
thank you for going and being there. Thank you so much. It
yeah.
didn't surprise me that you did, but
I couldn't not.
Well, I know, because I know you, and I can't imagine you not.
But you're welcome.
But thank you.
I mean,
how many people, who have families and would feel scared to do that and put themselves in harm's way to show up for something that's so crucial. I'm so grateful that you did that.
Another thing you didn't see on the national news is that there were a ton of family cleanup crews down there,
and through after
it was amazing. The cleanup crews were amazing. but there's more cleanup to do today everywhere. We did take a drive through Uptown, and there was a lot of looting in Uptown last night, and there were cleanup crews already out there today, and the community is just coming out to like board up the windows and everything.
Minneapolis doesn't surprise me.
Right?
It's one of my absolute favorite places. The first time I ever went there, I was like,
when you were here.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm from Boston and I love Boston. Of course, that feels like home to me in so many ways. But something about Chicago and Minneapolis, there's this like, I feel like I must have been a Midwesterner.
Right.
I come there and I'm like, these are my people. I just feel so at home there. And I also think a lot of my favorite people in the world live there, including you. And it's just like salt of the earth, amazing, grounded people who care deeply about community. That's what it feels. I don't know. It's always felt that way to
me. Just a second, because I was worried about this, and Catherine chimed in. I am much louder than Edie is.
Oh, really? Do you want me to turn up my mic a bit?
Yeah, turn up the mic. Turn it up.
Okay. Hot mic. Okay. Testing. Is that any better?
It's better on my end. I hope that's better for folks. There's a little delay, so we'll hear in a second. I was thinking Edie's level is much lower. Okay, we'll hear. If okay. Edie's level is better, please let us know that too.
Okay.
I have like this space in my heart for Boston. Like every time I go to Boston and New York. New York's different though. But Boston's I feel at home here. There's some sort of
there's a connection. There is. Yeah. I don't know how to articulate it, but it feels familiar. And Chicago too, living in Chicago for 8 years. I was like, oh, it feels like Boston. I don't know what it is. With a different accent. But there's just a hominess and a warmth and a sense that you can be completely yourself. And there's I mean, of course, there's always some level of artifice because we're human beings protecting ourselves. But in general, people feel very grounded to me and very present. Or and that you find those people everywhere. But there seems to be a high concentration of that in the Midwest and in Boston, too.
I mean, both of us have toured around a lot. And I think there are definitely communities. Oh, hi, Dad.
Aww.
I just chimed in.
Hi, Dad.
There are definitely communities that feel more like they need to keep to themselves a little bit in the world. And
there are certain ones that just swallow you up in the best way. I know. It's true. It's magic. And you do get that sense as you travel around, these people might be really nice, super nice to me, but I'm not going to get into their heart for a very long time. And there's some people who are like, here's my heart. It's right here. I'm going to give it all to you. And as someone who has never been able to cultivate mystery ever in her life, I'm just completely naked all the time. I know it's shocking. I do appreciate being around people who are willing to get right in there with me, and I know that you are a soul sister on that front.
Yeah. A little hard on my sleeve all the time.
I know. I speak the same language. Trust me, I understand.
Where are you from again?
I grew up in Dedham, Massachusetts. It's just a suburb of Boston. It's a sweet little town right outside the city.
Totally have a Midwestern heart. I really feel like
I know. Yeah, I mean, my parents aren't from there. My mom's from California. My dad's from New Jersey. But I grew up there because my dad had a job there, and then I was born in Vermont. My dad was working at Middlebury College when I was born, and then we moved down to Boston. So I lived there until I went to college, and then I went to school in New York City and lived there for 10 years, and then Atlanta and Portland, Maine, and Chicago, and now Colorado Springs.
There you go. We got the whole geography of
I know. I'm just moving from the north down to the New York, and then just moving ever further west. Yeah. I hope not. I actually really want to stay here for a long time.
I would. If I were you.
I'm looking at a mountain right now with rain and snow on it. It's pretty dreamy. So it's nice. I really do love it a lot. But I do miss the Midwest. I go to Chicago and I'm like, oh, I still have this deep ache in my heart for my time there. I don't want to go back because I couldn't afford to live there with kids, but I really do. I feel like it's another one of my many homes, I guess.
Yeah. Totally.
My dog is scratching at the door trying to get in right now.
Aw. If I was
know.
home, my cat would be scratching at the door. But
I feel bad for him. Well, we're getting a little bit of rain, and my husband can let
do
him
you
in.
need
He's
to go get
fine.
your dog?
No, he's
Okay.
fine. He'll come in here and he'll whine the whole time. He'll be fine. He's trotting across the yard now. He's fine. He's
Okay,
going to find my husband. That's who he really wants. I know the deal.
So I first heard your music with the I'm gonna gush a little. So my face might get pink but I have the stage lights on, so because I'm actually still in my protest gear right now.
You look like a badass. You look like a badass.
I am so grubby. So I first heard Edie's music. Okay, I'm gonna talk to the audience now. Okay. In 2004. Pretty sure it was my at that time girlfriend that got a hold of the record when I was made, and I swiftly stole it and listened to it all the time.
Well done. Well done.
I have it totally memorized. And so I was 24 then. And I loved it so much that I was inspired to get in touch with Evan Brubaker, who produced that record. He produced another record for you, right?
Bring the Sea in 2010.
Yeah. So he's now produced 3 records for me. And he's not really producing records right now, which is a shame because he's so freaking talented.
He is.
Evan, if you're out there.
You know why he's so amazing? Evan is, a lot of people can shape sound and have an idea for the vision of your song, but Evan sort of works with all of you, and he's like, something he did for me right before I made When I Was Made. He was like, I was really pissed at him when he said this, but he was like, do you know that you're not a soprano? And I was like, what are you talking about?
He has a way of saying shit like that too.
I know. I was like, I hate you. What are you talking about? He's like, well, you can sing high notes and that's great. He's like, but I think you have this like deep, rich lower register that I'm going to make you carve out. And I was like, okay. And I was really annoyed when he said it, but he made me write every song for that record without a capo. I was not allowed. For those of you who don't know what a capo is, it's this thing right here where you can change the key of your song. So the higher you go on the neck, the higher the song is. So if you play it without, it just makes everything really freaking low. And he was like, you don't have to record it that way. He's like, but if you learn how to play the songs really low, you're going to learn how to sing in these sort of deep, richer tones. Which actually worked. It did give me major voice problems for a while because I didn't know how to support. I knew how to support high singing, but I didn't know how to support low. I was like, this is what you do when you sing.
And it's a different beast. Yeah.
I didn't know. But I am eternally grateful for him, to him for pointing that out to me, even though it pissed me off in the moment. But Evan doesn't let you get away with anything. Like my song, If I Start to Cry, which is a really sad song. I wrote like 7 different iterations of that song. And he was like, yeah, I mean, it's good. It's like, it's a nice song. He's like, but you haven't said yet what you need to say in that song. And I was like, I hate you. And I just kept writing it. I finally came out and I have this really devastating bridge in the song that says, I'm just like my mother. I'm just like my mother. And if you don't love her, what does that mean about me? So that was the crux of the song.
Okay, I'm going to give you...
It wasn't until I wrote that he was like, what's that?
I'm going to give you the best compliment that doesn't feel like a compliment right now.
Okay, I'm ready. That is the best compliment.
That's
my friends and I in my songwriting group, when someone does an amazing song, you're like, well, that's a fuck you song right there. I don't want to be your friend anymore because I am so jealous. Thank you. That is the nicest compliment you can give me. But what I appreciated, and I'm sure he did this for you too, is that he didn't let me get away with good. He was like, get to the bones of it. Just get to the bones of it. This is old pain and just get it out. You're going to feel better. Of course, after I wrote that line, I like cried so hard for so long that I got a sinus infection and had to stop recording and had to leave and come back because I couldn't sing any of my vocals. But but he's just so good at forcing you to like push yourself a little bit harder and get into that uncomfortable zone. And like, that's how you write songs that like make people feel things. And I just love him. I just think he's amazing. So I'm so glad that you know the magic of Evan.
Yeah. I mean, like I know that you carry around like little nuggets of like him saying stuff that just like twists you a little bit.
That always piss you off a little bit because he's not afraid to point out like, yeah, like you're doing a good job. Like, and then you're like, what's the next thing he's going to say? And it's not that he doesn't give praise. He does. He'll be like, you nailed it, but he won't give it until he really feels like you put the work in. And I think that's an extraordinary thing in a producer.
Yeah.
You feel like you're a better artist once the record is done. And I think that's
Yeah.
a great gift that I'm eternally grateful for.
Absolutely. I mean, the songs on that record are the ones that I know most intimately, but you've put out several records and EPs since then. You've also put out 2 children, which is amazing. So your life looks a little bit different than it did, 16 years ago when the record was made. But it was so good to know that you were traveling again and touring again because I'm like, oh, she can play here now. And some of my friends from that time texted me and they're like, oh my gosh, it's Edie. And it's just, we were so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I had such a great time. That place is magic. For those of you in Minneapolis and St. Paul, you have to, or even if you're further afield, make a trip because it is magic. You walk down and you're like in this like womb of warmth. And look at the wood behind her. Like that's the back of the stage. It's like stunningly beautiful and the acoustics are great. It's just magic. And it's also because of you guys and you love it. And it was created by artists. And if it's created by artists, that's usually the venue that is amazing because you guys know what you want as a performer. And you just do it beautifully.
And the actual green room.
Yeah, totally. It's fabulous. I had such a great time. Thank you for
really
having me.
That. It was a magical night. Well, I don't want to. I mean, I feel like you and I could talk forever, and I do want folks to hear songs too, and I want to hear songs. This discussion, I for those of you who are just tuning in now, I started this with a big announcement and acknowledgement of what's going on in Minneapolis. And I already feel like just talking with Edie for a little while, I already feel like, it's going to be okay.
It is going to be okay.
And,
it's just, oof.
And I feel like I don't know what your set list is today, but I feel like knowing your songs, I think that, I mean, okay, gushing again. Knowing your songs, I feel like I'm going to be like, oh yeah, those are normal emotions. Those are like not, those are good. Those can happen too, even in this fucking crazy fucking shit. Sorry, I'm swearing so much. No, I'm not sorry.
Well, if they've seen me live, they know that I have
you have a potty mouth.
Horrible language. I read this. I'm going to totally misquote this, but I don't know if you're a Glennon Doyle fan. She just wrote the book Untamed, which I have yet to read. But I keep reading all these wonderful quotes of hers.
Oh, I haven't read it yet.
Oh, she's so good. She and her wife, Abby Wambach, the soccer player, did an incredible live stream with the Indigo Girls yesterday. And I was cooking dinner and ugly crying through the whole thing. It was so great. But it made me go back and look up some quotes from Glennon. And she said something like, grief is a cocoon and like you emerged changed from it. And it's true. And when you're in it, you're in the inside of it and you can't figure out how the hell you're going to get out and how you're going to be. You're trying to think about how you're going to be the same as you were before, but you never are the same. I think we all can look back in our lives and be like, well, that was the first me. And then around 14, I had a really bad depression. And then I came out and I was the second me. And then, I became a mother and that became the third me and all these different things, whether it's a trauma or a positive change. When you're in the middle of it, it's like my mom calls that the vulnerable middle. I remember her always saying that to me when I was struggling with stuff when I was younger. She's like, you're in the vulnerable middle. You have no idea. You can't remember what it was like before. You have no idea how the hell you're going to get to the next part. You just have to sit in it and hang out. And this is like a volatile, vulnerable middle. And God, it needs to happen. I mean, of course, as you said, I never want to condone looting because it only hurts your community further. But I also understand the rage completely. And I I empathize with it deeply, and I can absolutely understand how those feelings are explosive and huge, and how you just want to break everything. I mean, haven't you felt that kind of rage? I remember having temper tantrums as a kid, and I was like, how much can I destroy? I watched my 3-year-old have that kind of huge
all the crayons, all the crayons,
stuff, all the crayons, all the crayons. I threw like an open can of soup at my sister. Like I could have like cut her head off. But I like the rage that you can feel as a person. And my life has been pretty darn easy and pretty darn privileged. And so it's very easy to understand how people are feeling how they are.
Yeah.
So just thank you for being vulnerable about where you are today, and for still wanting to do this. I was going to email you this morning and be like, do you even want to do this? I don't, but I feel like let's not let it stop healing, because healing can be concurrent at the same time that the grief is happening.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. And thank you for still being on it. Thank you for your words. And we really hope that you can come back to Minneapolis and play here again. The Warming House is we've been doing every day at 4 in May, streaming live. We're switching. So tomorrow's Auntie Juvicat. Yay!
Oh God!
And Sunday is the Suitcase Junket.
Oh my God! What a finale!
Yeah, I know, right?
Amazing.
We played our place twice and like quickly grew out of it, and it was like, you need a rock and roll club, you need the strip club, and that's where he went to, and maybe 7th Street Entry or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really fun to host him here in this tiny room.
He's amazing. Both so good. Yeah.
We really hope, we have no idea. We have no idea when we're gonna.
None of us knows anything.
We don't.
I look forward to when it actually happens. It might be 2042, but hopefully it will be long before then. We're going to appreciate every moment that we're in community, listening and playing music.
Absolutely. We're all craving it in person, and we're at the Warming House. We're just going to take our time. Yep. We're moving to 2 shows a week. So we're going to do Monday in the Rounds in June, and we're going to do Thursday. This is all
virtual.
Thank you.
Internet. I think the term is World Wide Web. I think it's what the kids are saying. What is it? It's the World Wide Web. I think it's what the kids are saying. Yeah. My mom actually. Yes, she loves to talk about the World Wide Web. I'll be doing the same thing soon, so it's fine.
So Monday's in the Round with 3 different artists and trading songs on Facebook and YouTube. And then we are also doing Thursday community events, because part of our programming is we usually do at least 150 shows a year, and at least 100 community events a year. And community events are, rough draft nights where we workshop songs together. So we're going to hop on Zoom and do that. Open mic, we're going to have a Zoom open mic. And then music business night. That's what we're planning. So for all awesome. Which is actually pretty cool, because these people are in Boston and Chicago. I mean, and hi Zachary.
Hi Zachary. Yay. He's right in your head.
Yes, he is. You can tune in from all over the place to our community events too, which is exciting. That's going to be a new chapter.
That's great.
So, our tradition. I don't know if you remember our tradition of asking a silly question to introduce you.
Okay. Yep, I do.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I
may have asked you this when you played here, but I don't remember the answer. But but I have like a hunch of what the answer will be. So
lay it on me.
Last question of the interview, to introduce you to everyone. What my favorite question to ask of musicians. What was the very first piece of music? So probably tape or CD, because we're similar ages.
Yeah.
What was the very first piece of music that you ever bought? Yes.
It's difficult to remember, but I believe, I believe it was a single. You remember those?
Yes.
I'm older than you.
I know.
A single of Electric Youth. by Debbie Gibson.
I knew it was a Debbie Gibson. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I remember it. I was like, it's gotta be like Debbie Gibson or like Tiffany.
Oh, I loved Tiffany.
I had the
loved
Tiffany
Debbie
spot.
Gibson. Oh my God. And then I probably went home and put on like the worst 80s outfit ever and then like did a very sexy dance in front of the mirror and lip synced to it.
I could see it
If
all.
I'm being totally honest. It's either that or I was at a gas station on a road trip with my family and I got my allowance and I think I might have bought a Pointer Sisters cassette because they were my first concert that I saw. But I feel like it was Debbie Gibson. Either way, totally amazing. That's such a good question. It's good to remember those times.
Right?
Little did I know that I'd end up being a dorky folk singer all these years later.
Right?
It turned out great.
Joe Holtzman says he's losing all respect for you.
Well, it's understandable. It's understandable. That's fair. By the way, she's Deborah Gibson now.
Oh, yeah.
FYI.
Indeed.
I know. She is the theater actress. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to play songs for you. I'm going to take out my snazzy situations for my ears. I love you, friend. Please stay safe.
I love you too. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We talked for so long, so I appreciate that.
Thank you all for hanging in with our talking.
Yeah, I think they liked it. Nobody left, at least. I'm watching that number up there. It's only rising. I
feel like it's just what's happening right now. We needed to connect that way. It feels so right. So
thank you everyone for tuning in. Please be here tomorrow for Entre Duplicate and on Sunday for Suitcase Junket. Right now we have Edie Carey, and she's just gonna warm our little hearts and maybe make us cry, and that's okay too. Stay safe, Minneapolis. Stay safe wherever you are. There are things happening across the nation, and we love you. We love you, Edie.
Love you. Thank you,
and have fun playing songs. Thank you so much. I'm gonna disappear now.
Okay. Thanks, honey. All right. Hi, guys. Thanks for hanging in while we chatted. I'm going to scroll down just to make sure if there are sound issues, you can let me know. I know there's a little delay, but please let me know if you can't hear me well enough. I'm going to try to get close to my mic. This is a newer song called, I think it's called The Vale. I never title anything till I record it, but it's, I don't want to say anything about it. It's just, this is The Vale. Thought that we could catch the moon in the window of the way back. Diamond stars on velvet blue in the window of the way back. Daddy carried us to bed, our arms heavy round his neck. If I was not sleeping, I'd pretend. Oh, the sweetness of your breath, just like when you were a baby. Full surrender on my chest, I've been noticing lately. Every day you need me less, and I know that's for the best. Yeah, I know that's for the best. We cannot go back, no matter how we wish it. We cannot go back now. I've been traveling all this time like I had a force field around me. Then for a moment we were flying, and the floor became the ceiling. A storm of glass and crushing steel. No, it did not seem real. My hands still clinging to the wheel. We cannot go back. Now we can fish it. We cannot go back now. We cannot go with me or against me, but we won't say these words out loud. But we're screaming on the small screen. I've never seen such a great divide, so high and so wide. It's been here all this time. Now we cannot go back. Now the veil is lifted. We cannot go back now. We cannot go back. And I'm scared that we can't fix it. We cannot go back now. I thought that we could catch the moon in the window of the way back. Thank you. I hope you guys can hear okay. Let me know if you need me to turn it up some more. I want to sing this song. This is called Red Shoes. It's funny with songs. I don't know if other songwriters have this experience. I'm sure they do too, but I always picture where I was and what I was looking at when the song sort of came into focus. It might not even be where I wrote it, but maybe the first time I played it. And the first time I played this song was at a house concert in Minneapolis, at a woman named Amy Lotsberg's house. She had this really cool, in fact, I think Brianna might have opened for me that night or come to play. Maybe I'm merging memories, but I feel like she was there and she played an amazing song that made me cry. But I played this song for the first time there and I totally butchered it. Like, I was like deeply, deeply embarrassed with how terribly I butchered it, my new song. And I was like, ugh, why did I do that? Why did I play it? And then it was a good testament to how you can go back and edit. It's never too late to edit. And I went back and I sort of tore it apart and sewed it back together. And it ended up being a song that I still love to play 12 years later. This is called Red Shoes. Now you never call me, but I remember when you called me, honey. I got a head so thick, pride on my tongue. Are you big enough to love me? I felt so hopeless, staring down the barrel of that life. You wouldn't recognize me, but I'm still that same girl running. I got a hotel pen, a story in my head, and a little bit of money. The city's so crowded, find myself alone most of the time. 'Cause I came here for a reason. No, the girls in our town, they don't understand. I love you and I'm leaving. If you let me go, maybe there's a chance. Wouldn't call it easy, but every day I cast these doubts out. I got a new silk dress, story in the paper. Will I ever make you proud? I sleep so soundly, feel the sun creep across my bed. 'Cause I came here for a reason. No, the girls in our town, they don't understand. But I love you and I Thank you, friends. I'm going to do a little switcheroo over to the piano. I'm going to have to just move some materials. Just 1 second. All right. I hope I'm not making large noises by doing that with the microphone. Sorry if it's violent in your ears. This is a song that I wrote very recently. I don't know if Becky Harris is out there, but Becky Harris was hoping to hear this song. She's one of my dear friends in Boston. And I played this, I don't even remember when, my last show, but I don't remember what date that was. And it was brand new, and it's still pretty new. I just was thinking about this reality that we're in right now, and how easy it is to feel totally cushioned from it. I'm home with my kids, and yeah, it's hard that I can't tour, but like, I don't have to go expose myself working at a grocery store every day. I don't have to be, a doctor or a nurse, and really be in the thick of it in any way. I'm like, it so often doesn't seem real. And then I listen to the news, and of course couldn't be more real. So I think I was really struggling with that. I'm continuing to struggle with that. And I wanted to write a song that kind of climbed inside the mind of someone who really knows what it's like to be in the thick of it. And of course, this is me guessing, but I think you get to 45 and you know what it feels like to feel scared and to have trauma. And so I tried to use my own experience to inform it even a tiny, tiny bit, if I can even possibly imagine. So anyway, I ramble, I digress, but this is called I Know This. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear the vocal okay? I know there's a delay. Hang on, I'm going to do one thing. Testing. Oh, Becky. Yay. There she is. Okay. In the sweet cocoon of our tiny living room, my baby girl grins up at me from the floor. I wanna hold her to my chest, but I pull up my mask instead. Blow my love a kiss and fly out the door. Down the subways, chipping yellow stairs, I used to fight for space, and now there's no one there. I know this will not last. I know this, it cannot last. The sun, it'll come back. Behind these sliding doors, nothing makes sense anymore. They look to me to tell them what to do. But you can't train for this. Blind shots in the abyss. I'm terrified and I'm supposed to be bulletproof. Down that hallway in the last room on the right, she's a woman my own age, no one but us to say goodbye. I know this will not last. I know this, it cannot last. I wanna lay her out in
Don't we all deserve that? At the end of the day, I try and wash it all away. And water so hot it turns my skin red. But we can curl up close right when we need it most. I crawl into the cold sheets of the pull-out bed. I know this will not last. I know this is gonna pass. It's gonna pass. I just hope I'm not made of glass.
Thank you. Are you still there? Could you hear it? Ooh, that song makes me shake. I guess that's good. That's how songs should be, I suppose. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Please let me know if you can't hear things and I will adjust accordingly. I'm going to sing a lighter number just because I need to recover. Some of you guys know, or many of you know probably if you've seen me live, I write a lot of songs for people as commissions. A lot of times they're romantic in nature, not always, or they're romantic in nature, like happily so. It's a wedding or it's an anniversary or it's their loved one's, significant birthday. I recently wrote one for a man who knew on some level that his marriage was probably ending, but wanted to write her a song of, I hope you stay, but I understand if you don't stay. It was devastating and such a beautiful experience to get to work on that with him. Anyway, this one I wrote for some old friends of mine from 20 years ago. It was their 20th anniversary. And it's called The Cypress and the Oak. I remember when I first met them, I think I was about 24, and they were newly married. And I was like, oh my God, they've been married for like a year and they're, younger than I am. And am I ever going to get married? And what's that like? And they just seemed so grown up. And they just clearly were people who just knew who they were early on and were, willing to like figure out all the stuff together. And I always admired them so much as a couple back then. And it's so wonderful to see how beautifully they still remain paired to this day and stronger than ever. It's really inspiring. So this song is for them. This is The Cypress and the Oak.
Oh, anyone could see, even before you fell in deep, shame behind her in this physics chair, his fingers woven in her chestnut hair. There was something there. Oh, the electricity, two hearts who knew they were meant to be. All the rest had to find its place, and and that takes time and doubt and faith. Oh, you found your way. The cypress and the oak, the sun shines on you both. You lean out to let in the light, and that's what makes you grow. You bask in the other's glow. Your roots intertwined. All the tasks that he can't stand, she's right there to take him off his head. And he always does the same for her. Oh, they've never shied away from the work. They know what it's worth. The cypress and the oak, the sun shines on you both. You lean out to let in the light, and that's what makes you grow. You bask in the other's glow. Your roots intertwine. Oh, she's just a dreamer, always making plans. He's a wood tamer with a steady hand. All your adventures, great and small, you've grown up together through them all. And things are good, really good. The cypress and the oak, oh, the sun shines on you both. The same two hearts burning bright. You always bucked the norm. Oh, you made a life that's yours. You fill 'em up with love and light. You keep her on her toes. You fill us all with joy. Best friends dancing through this life. Oh, oh, oh. That's for Shane and Sunshine. Thank you, guys. Why do I make set lists? I always change my mind. No, I'm gonna do this one. This is called Rise. This is a relatively new song as well. I've been writing so much because I was supposed to make a record at the end of this month. And I am going to make it, but it'll probably be November. We have time slotted in November and February, so who the heck knows, because no one can make plans anymore. But it's been so much fun to be writing so much. Every morning I come out to my little writing space. My husband took our old woodshed and completely renovated it for me, because God love him, he's the nicest human ever. He was probably tired of me playing piano in our house when he was trying to like watch a movie. So now I got an old used piano and it's out here, and I can come out here and wail in the morning from like 5:30 to 8. He feeds the kids, and I get to play music in the morning and write songs when my brain is fresh. And I am so grateful. So this is a song, I didn't write this here. I actually wrote this in a hotel in Michigan. But I finished it here in the she shed. And I went through years of infertility, about 3 years roughly, to have each of my kids. My son is 7 and my daughter is 3, almost 4. And while it was not a fun experience, I made some of the most amazing women friends in my life. Just
hilarious, real, open-hearted humans. I guess when you meet sort of in that vulnerable space, you're like immediately best friends. But I ran a support group after I had my son. I went to the group, and then the woman who ran it didn't want to run it anymore. So I took it over and ran it in my apartment in Chicago. And I just was thinking all these years later, and I'm still friends with so many of the women, and we, so many of us have had our kids in a variety of different ways through adoption or in vitro or egg donation or just getting lucky finally that it finally worked. I just think about those women and how we met in that vulnerable space, and that I wanted when people would walk into my door for the first time, never having met me, and somehow trusting me to be a safe space for them while they were struggling. It just felt like such an honor, and we would just like laugh and cry and shove chocolate chip cookies in our faces, and it was great. It was terrible and great, if that makes sense. This is called Rise.
I saw the face you made when you thought I looked away. I see the way you clench your hands. Was it so hard to say we're hurting? Don't you hand me half your burden? You think you can't show me, but you can. Hey, hey, hold on a little longer. Hold on a little longer. Holding on doesn't mean that you can't cry. I know your shattered heart is stronger than when you started. It's been a long night, but that sun, she's gonna rise. Some days I'm made of lead, locked deep inside my head, with all these voices whispering lies. We're not made to be alone. Won't you let me be your home? Left on the porch light, come inside. Hey, hey. Hold on a little longer. Hold on a little longer. Holding on doesn't mean that you can't cry. I know your shattered heart is stronger than when you started. It's been a long night, but that sun, she's gonna rise. Hold on, you're not alone, yeah. Hold on, you're not alone, Hold on a little longer, hold on a little longer. Although we're gonna make it through the night. I know your shattered heart is stronger than when you started. It's been a long night, but that's sun. Hey, hold on, you're not alone, yeah. Hold on, you're not alone, yeah.
Thank you. You guys, thank you for being here with me on this Friday afternoon. I am so grateful. Every time I do this streaming thing, it gets a little less terrifying. And I feel like I can like inhabit the songs more than I could each time before. And thank you for hanging in there with me. It's a brave new world, people. Sort of a scary reference, but it is. Thank you so much for being here to hang out with me. Thank you to the Warming House. Brianna, I love you. Sending you and Greg a huge hug, and John as well. I'm going to do this last song. It feels like a lot right now, like on so many levels. Yeah, my husband this morning when I came down, NPR was on. He was listening to the coverage of what was going on in Minneapolis and the riots. And he was like, as if it wasn't already a lot for everyone. And now this, and it's just a lot. So I'm just sending you all a really big hug. And I just felt like I should end with a song of comfort and just like I'm tucking you into your tiny bed. It's a little early for that, but you know, I'm on Mountain Standard Time. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. This song is called Your Own Stars, and this is from my Lullabies album that I made with Sarah Sample in 2014. And as someone who struggles with insomnia, not the kind where you can't go to sleep, but the kind where you wake up and you start questioning all of your life choices and everything you said the day before, and then your brain starts going on the hamster wheel. You feel me, my people. I was looking at my sleeping son when he was about a year old on the video monitor and how incredibly peaceful he looked, and I was envious of that. And I was like, I just wished for that never to end for him. And he's still a pretty zen kid, but he wakes up and feels worried about things. And recently at bedtime, he was like, Mom, what if the sun goes out? And I didn't have the heart to tell him it's going to go out, but it's just a really long time away. And unfortunately, he's getting old enough and smart enough to research that stuff on his own. I had to think of my toes on that one. Anyway, this is a song for you and for comfort. And I love you guys. Thank you. This is Your Own Stars. Clunk, 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 clunk.
You're not afraid of the dark. You just lie there talking. Sing to yourself under pitch black night. I can hear you smiling. Then you turn your head, take one deep breath, and you sleep right through till the morning. You make your own stars. You're not afraid of dreaming. Worries are far from your soft, warm bed. I can hear you laughing. Then you turn your head, take one deep breath, and you sleep right through till the morning. Then you turn your head, take one deep breath, and you sleep right through till the morning. You're not afraid of the dark. You just lie there talking. Sing to yourself under pitch black night. I can hear you laughing. Then you turn your head, take one deep breath, and you sleep right through
Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Please stay safe. We are thinking of you. If you are in Minneapolis, sending love and safe and calming thoughts to you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you too, Warming House.